growing up in Nigeria, I've always understood that corruption was a big problem, but we all understood that it was a global issue because you had a small political elite that were benefiting at the expense of the general population, and the corruption was being facilitated by the West, who were helping them to get away with what they were doing in the country. And it was becoming more and more of an issue, and at that time there was a criminal investigation agency called the EFCC that had just been formed and was tackling the issue of high-level corruption head-on. And they put some information into the public domain which revealed that some Western private equity firms were behind or were invested in some of the companies that were known to be linked to a very high-profile Nigerian politician. So I felt that if that information was put into the public domain in the West, then the Western governments would tackle what was being done on their behalf. And that's what prompted me to make the report to the different agencies in the West, with the belief at the time that they would act on that information, but it subsequently turned out not to be the case, that they were actually aware of what was being done in their name, and they were not only condoning it, but they were actually sponsoring it, which was quite a shock to the system. And I ended up being put under surveillance, my family, my background, everything was being investigated, when the actual people that had alleged were involved were going scot-free. And the climax of it was when the Olaf, the European Anti-Fraud Agency, after about 3 or 4 years of investigating, turned around and said they weren't interested because they hadn't lost any money. And to me, that crystallizes what the problem is. So the problem is not that people are not aware that the corruption is taking place. The question is, as long as the West is able to benefit from it, then they don't really care. And by the same token, the government officials who are engaging in that corruption are doing it with the full expectation that they will be able to move their funds, their illicitly acquired wealth, out of the country and keep it in the West, and which I think embodies the global aspect of the corruption.